Welcome to my channel where we talk about faith, race, and how to navigate this thing that we call life. I have a topic that we are going to discuss that I know a lot of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color are going to resonate with, unfortunately. It's when we're confused for being someone of the same race. But guess what? That person is someone else other than us. That's how I feel inside. It is so annoying. I have to say that I feel like I experienced this so much in school, where essentially it was predominantly white people who, regardless of what their intentions were or were not, the impact was them confusing me with the other 4 Black people in my grad program. That was so annoying. And I know some of my friends actually had an issue with them being called the wrong person. They were actually being called the name of one Black girl. So basically all 4 of them were the same person. And the professor just decided not to check their racism. So this is not a new topic. Unfortunately, I experienced this a few days ago when I was at, long and behold, a COSTCO run. Yeah, that's right, a COSTCO run. Unfortunately, racism takes place any day of the week, any time of the day, and at any location. So, getting back to what I was talking about, let me go ahead and describe my encounter with a white woman at COSTCO. As many of you know, our mom was staying with us for a while. She has a lot of things that she needs to do to help her brain. One of those things is actually eating a lot of walnuts because it has great omega-3. So she was actually in line and I was like, oh, I forgot the walnuts. Let me get the walnuts. So I got the walnuts. I'm literally walking to the nut aisle, and then this white woman stops me and was like, hey, did you find what you were looking for? And I was a little confused because I was like, I'm not sure if we've ever met, actually. I'm not sure you know I'm looking for walnuts, but maybe you heard me, giving her the benefit of the doubt, right? Like maybe you heard me when I was talking to my mother just 5 aisles ago. Again, giving her the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like intrigued and I'm like, okay, like listening, like, and I think she could tell, like, okay, it's like, I'm a little confused, but I'm listening to you as you continue. And she was just like, you found the udon noodles, right? That you were looking for. And at this point, my face is like super confused because I was just like, that's not in my mom's diet. Why would I be looking for udon noodles? Just think. Well, she's confusing me with another Black chick. Immediately, she sees my face, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she's like, oh, it comes to her like, oh, crap. I'm being like a Karen. Oh, crap. I confused a Black woman for another Black woman. Oh, crap. So then she proceeds to try to justify it and is like, oh, you have the same hairstyle. And I look at her like, and I just walk away because I'm like, I literally don't have time for you. So I get my walnuts. I go to my mom. I tell her what happened because at this point I'm pretty pissed. And then she's like, and by the area that we were at, there aren't a lot of Black people, okay? There's a few, but maybe 10%, 10 to 15% of like the people who are in the store. So I tell my mom that, and she's like, I saw another Black girl. She had her hair out, but her hair was much fuller. She had a different outfit than you, and she had a way different hairstyle. Because I had my hair part back, part down. And I was just like, yeah. So please put in the comments if you resonate with this. Either maybe you are a person of color and you're like, hey, I've definitely been confused for being someone who I'm not, just simply because of my racial attributes. That's annoying. And then for white watchers out there, go ahead, put in the comments, be brave and be bold and say whether or not you have done it yourself. Because guess what? A lot of folks are guilty of it. I've experienced this from when I was like 6 years old all the way until present day. And my mom still experiences this as an older woman. So this video is really hopefully resonate with a lot of people of color and say, hey, like, you are not the only one. But then also give some tips to white people who have a genuine heart, but for whatever reason is just not paying enough attention to check their own racism. So let's get to it. The first tip, it's just simple. Pay attention to my features. So my mom taught me this at age 6, that not all people look alike. That goes for me looking at other Black people. That goes for me looking at white people. That goes for me looking at Asian people, Latino people, indigenous population, like you name it. The list goes on. There's so many people groups in the world that God created. Okay. So for me, and one of the reasons actually that she taught me this was because so many people didn't realize that me and her looked alike, because I was darker than her and she was lighter than me. But we actually have the same features. So that is tip number 1. Look at someone's features, okay? Me and my mom have literally the same exact eyes. We have the same exact mouth. We have the same exact cheekbones. I have a mix between my mom and my dad's nose. Look at the features. Just look at the features. If you look at me and my mom's features, then you would actually be able to see, hey, they look like twins, but the only difference is that I'm of a darker complexion and she's of a lighter complexion. And then her nose is just slightly different because, again, remember, I have a mix of my mom and dad's nose. Those are literally the only differences outside of our forehead. So those are the only 3 differences. And then me and my mom literally have the same exact features. Okay, so that's number 1, okay? Before you assume that you just saw the person that you thought you just got done talking to, make sure that as you're talking to that person that you're paying attention to the features. Does that person have almond-shaped eyes? Does that person have light eyes, dark eyes? Does that person have, this similar eyebrows, a larger forehead, wider lips, higher cheekbones? These are all just kind of, again, just affirming our humanity as humans, as people, as unique children of God, that we are not made all the same, right? God spent specific time on my features, and that's different than the woman who was getting udon noodles. I'm sure she had beautiful features, but I'm almost positive they were probably nothing like mine. So again, tip number 1, to try to avoid replicating racism and stop confusing people of color for basically looking all alike. 1, just simply look at our features. All right, now we're on to number 2. Look at how we are dressed. I think that that's actually really helpful. So the person who my mom thought that the lady confused me with literally had none of the items of clothing that I had, nor were they the same color. This is helpful. Normally, we're not wearing the same thing. Now, I say this in caution because, unfortunately, I feel like a general description for young Black men might be, oh, a Black guy wearing a hoodie, right? Like, that's such a Karen move. Let's not do that, right? Let's get a little bit more descriptive. And especially with women, I think it's easier to be descriptive because we're wearing dresses or pants or overalls or shorts or skirts or leggings, or there's so many different combinations for women. we could be wearing earrings, we could not be wearing earrings. Like, what do we have on? Not only the articles, but freaking the color. What color do we have on? Okay, just be really mindful of, I think, fully acknowledging the person and like not just kind of glancing over, but being intentional about, okay, if I know my intent is going to be to probably follow up with that person, or just if my intent is not to confuse all Black people or all Latino people or all Asian people or all Indigenous people for looking alike, then that means I need to take that extra step of actually looking at them in their fullness. That brings me to tip number 3. It's okay to look at our hair, but make sure that you are not clumping all Black hair together or all Latino hair together or all Asian hair together or all Indigenous hair together or whatever the case is, okay? There are so many different hairstyles. I will say, speaking as a Black woman, especially the fact that, hey, guess what? I'm having my hair back today. When that incident happened, I had half of it up, half of it down. And my mom said that the person that she thought that I was confused with had all of her hair down, and it was in more of like an afro shape, and mine was further down and it was like less of that shape. So pay attention to our hair. Some of us have tighter curls, some of us have looser curls, some of us have hair that goes down here, some of us have hair that goes to here, some of us have hair that goes to here, some of us have darker brown hair, some of us have highlights, some of us have blonde hair, some of us have low lights. Like, the list goes on, but we do not all have the same hairstyle. So pay more attention, because again, I know based on what my mom's saying that lady got me confused with someone with the completely different hairstyle, even though she said you have the same hairstyle. What she really meant was, ooh, sorry, got caught, but I can't tell Black people apart, and I feel bad. And this is my white guilt talking. So I hope that this was helpful, because guess what? I know that part of addressing racism means making sure that we are addressing some of the everyday things, the everyday aggressions that really harm Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. I shouldn't have had to experience that going to the grocery store to take care of my mother, okay? But that is the reality of what we live in. So I just want to go ahead and affirm the feelings and the experiences of all Black, Indigenous, and other people of color who are watching this. And I also want to encourage white people who are watching this to lean in, reflect. Have you done this? Have you seen this happen? Have you thought about it, but maybe you haven't said it, right? But maybe you were like, ooh, I thought that was that, ooh, but that's another person, right? So use these tips, encourage other white colleagues, other white family members, other white parishioners who you're in community with to use these tips. The bottom line is to look at us in our individuality and not lump us all together. Okay, that is what you see with all 3 tips, and looking at our features, looking at what we're actually wearing, and looking at our hair in more detailed, affirming, human-centered ways. Okay, it just goes back to the principle that we are all made in God's image, and that God made us all uniquely. Okay, we are not the same, and treating us the same in that way is an act of perpetuating racism. So with that said, I really hope that you can like this video, that you can subscribe to this video, and you can share this video with others, okay? Until next time.